Before this video starts, I'd like to address the fact that yes, there is a bit of an echo with the audio. I will have this fixed by next episode, but for now it is reasonable. So, yep, that's it. See you. Hey guys, Spartan here. Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy X. If you're watching this in the playlist, you wouldn't really realize unless you bother to look at the dates, but this is recorded like over a year ago since the last one. But now that I finished my series that I've been wanting to finish for ages, I'm going back to this game because I really do like this game. So, excuse me if I'm a bit rusty from the fact that I don't know what the heck's going on, but I did watch a little bit of the last video that I uploaded, and I know exactly what I'm doing. And hang on, I'm gonna change my formation here for a second. I don't think it really matters, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So, yep. To recap what we did in gameplay mechanics, I gave 1,000 gil to Walker last episode, and I need to get his, the amount of total gil given to him to 10,001 for the best discount on his items. I only have 150 gil right now, but we are of course going to continue on with the story. Last story element was that we are now on the SS Licky, and we're going to Kilika with Yuna and the rest of the crew, so she can do the whatchamacallit. I'm pretty sure there's nothing I can really interact with on this boat. You can enter the captain's hold over here, but I'm pretty sure there's absolutely nothing here. If there's another boat that you go on later, and it has an Albed primer in it, which you do not want to miss because you'll have to go all the way back to Kilika and go from Kilika to Luca, and it's just a real pain. So I believe we need to talk to Waka here to progress the story.
Come to think of it, I haven't told you where we're going. First to Kilika Island. Then we change boats and head for Luca. For that though, Yuna's gotta pray at the temple. I'll be guarding. We'll be praying for the Aurochs' victory too, so you come along, yeah?
Great plan.
Hey, it is a great plan.
You can't pray for victory. Okay, I forget how to progress the plot here, really.
That summoner's got noble blood. I heard she's Lord Braska's daughter. You don't say.
You don't say.
Lord Braska's daughter?
Yes, nice reaction. And then we have to talk to Waka to get confirmation on who Lord Braska is.
So, is Yuna's father famous or something?
She's the daughter of High Summoner Braska. You saw his statue at the temple. Lord Braska defeated Sin 10 years ago. Yuna's the heir to a great legacy.
It's tough when your father's famous.
Huh?
Waka's a bit lacking in the imagination department.
Huh?
Thanks, Lulu. I'll keep that in mind.
Oh, side note, last time I recorded Final Fantasy X, I was using my Dazzle, so that proves how old the series was. I'm known for taking long breaks, aren't I? So if the audio is terrible, I'll just re-record this, but if you're listening to this, that means it's passable. We will see, though. Don't try and give Yuna the moves. You know what I'm talking about, Tidus. Quality dialogue, 9 out of 10.
You're a blitzball player, aren't you? From Xanarkin, right?
You hear that from Waka?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Waka. Waka doesn't believe me at all.
But I believe you.
Huh?
I've heard in Xanarkin there is a great stadium, all lit up, even at night.
Huh?
Great blitzball tournaments are held there, and the stands are always full.
How do you know that?
A man named Jack told me. He was my father's guardian.
The plot thickens.
father. His name is Jecht.
Amazing! You know, our meeting like this must be the blessing of Yevon.
Sounds like him, but it can't be him.
Why not?
My old man, he died. 10 years ago, off the coast of Xanarkand.
Don't sound very sad.
I'm sorry.
He went out to sea for training one day, and never came back. And no one's seen him since then.
Why, that's the day that Jecht came to Spira.
But,
It's true, I first met Jecht 10 years and 3 months ago. I remember that was the day my father left. The date fits, doesn't it?
yeah, but how would he get here?
How did you get here?
You're here. Are you not?
Damn, Captain. Oh, nice animation there. Oh my god. Good old PS2 quality. Although this is technically the so-called HD remaster on the PS3, so... whatevs. Yuna falls off the boat and dies. The end. Hey look, Kimari's being useful. That's something that won't happen for like 98% of this game. You know, you need to make the end sound, you kind of have to close your mouth. Not just leave it open. So nice eyes, Yuna. One green, one blue.
What do you think you're doing? Stick a harpoon in him and we'll all get dragged under.
Sin is going for Kilika. We gotta distract him. Our families are in Kilika. Forgive us, Lady Summoner.
Yes, let's kill the summoner that can kill Sin in an attempt to distract it.
Wait! Oh boy!
What's the point of having harpoon guns if it doesn't protect against the biggest threat you can face? So how can you pierce Sin's hide? It's like invincible. This actually does look pretty nice. It was mind-blowingly good back in the PS2 days. And half the Besaid orcs get killed. Flawless transition. Yep, the party order does not matter. Yuna is still up front. Okay, now there is a trick to this fight. Hang on, I want... Oh, did my controller turn off? Yeah, it did, for being inactive for too long. Goddamn cutscenes. Okay, so I want Titus to go after the other two, so I'm just going to do the quickest action, which is change weapon. I'm not going to actually change it to anything. I'm just going to change it to itself. Right, so I'm going to switch to Waka here, because in order to kill Sin, you have to destroy this fin, and it says attack with magic in Waka's bowl, which means you can use Yulu. Yulu, yes, that's totally your name. You can use Lulu, you can use Yuna's summon, Valafor, you can use Waka, and you can use Kimari's Lance. So basically, Titus is kind of useless here, except for the fact that you can kill these things. And what do, you may ask? They drop a tiny amount of experience each, and nice crit. They actually give a decent amount of experience if you do overkill them, and the thing with this is that you know, it's not easy to kill them, except if you use Cheer, the maximum amount of times that it gives the boost, aka 5, then that means that Tidus, Kimari, and Waka can all kill these Sin Scales in one hit. Meaning that there is a good way to get unlimited, well, yeah, technically unlimited experience this early on in the game, even though, you know, eventually the experience will mean that you'll have to kill like 1,000 Sin Scales to level up. And it doesn't really help you that much, because, you know, the way this game is designed, you get more experience, of course, from longer enemies, and this grinding will technically become completely useless. The reason that I'm doing this, however, is because there are different overdrive gauge modes you can get. Everyone by default has Stoic, which means that your overdrive gauge charges when your hero takes damage. Now, if we kill enough Sin Scales, it is possible for us to get Warrior, which is overdrive charges when you deal damage, and Slayer, which charges when you kill an enemy, and basically Slayer is the best overdrive gauge mode for about 80% of the game.
Are there? The fin! Attack the fin!
So I'm going to be... Wait, was that 5 cheers that I used? I'll have to attack with Waka to find out. Because Waka needs that 5th cheer in order to kill in one hit. I'll do one more just in case. Cheer, of course, does not work after 5 times, and at maximum it increases damage dealt by 1/3 and reduces damage taken by 1/3. From physical attacks, of course. There we go, Waka can now kill these things in one hit. So this will put you in a good spot. Sin will not resummon the little shitty Sin Scales. Also, Sin's turn does nothing, he just moves around, it's merely cosmetic. As this is kind of a tutorial boss. So, yep. I will be adding a jump cut here and cutting back once I have unlocked Slayer mode for both Tidus and Waka, because, spoiler alert, Kimari is not going to be used throughout pretty much all this playthrough because of how useless he is. Another thing to take note of is, if there is only one Sin Scale left, it will always use Wings Start to Flicker, which means it's going to use Spines next turn, but it won't be alive that long to use it. Example here. There. So yep, jump cut time. So the reason we're getting Slayer this early on is because I said it ages ago, but most likely people would have forgotten, but yeah, Tidus gets more overdrives based on how many times he uses his overdrives, so of course the more times he uses them, then the, you know, the more he'll have. So basically we're going to get all of Tidus's overdrives relatively quickly. I mean, I've seen people who beat the game and don't have the final Tidus overdrive. It is a good overdrive too. I think that Tidus's 3rd overdrive is basically the best against small mobs, while the 4th one is the best against, you know, bosses. People say the 2nd is best, but I kind of disagree with that. One last thing to take note of if you're doing this yourself or something like that is that due to Kimari's speed not being that great, there is a decent chance that the turns will be off sync, meaning that Kimari will be too slow to keep up this loop of kill 2 Sin Scales, fingers its move, and then 3rd person gets their turn and does the loop, like that's going on right now. So if you do that, you kind of have to use the defend action to just kind of pass your turns to sync it up again, which can be a bit of a pain, but, you know, you're only gonna let, like, one attack in. Odds are you'll just dodge it, or you can just use a potion or something like that. Theoretically, you could have done this back on Zanarkand, back when you had to cut through the Sin Scales, because if you attack the 2 ones at the back, the game is scripted so that you don't die in Zanarkand. So you can theoretically kill the ones in the back repeatedly with Tidus to charge his Slayer overdrive. The reason you kind of don't want to do that then is because of the fact that you want Waka to get Slayer overdrive as well. Basically to clear out a bunch of small mobs, because Slayer is... it's not good against bosses. I'll just... you know, that's kind of obvious, but doesn't really benefit you much of having Slayer against one foe that does not die easily. I wish I could cast Slow on Sin, just because the most tedious part of this is the fact that Sin keeps doing this, which doesn't actually affect anything, it's just annoying. I'd like to say that the next time that you have to do grinding in Final Fantasy X at all is in the post-game stuff, which, granted, is tedious. It is far from the most tedious thing in the game. Most tedious thing in the game is probably the dodge 200 lightning bolts, but I won't be doing that because I'm not going to be using Kimahri. Wait, hang on, is it Kimahri that uses the dodge lightning bolts? Actually, no, I think that's Lulu, but I'm not going to be using Lulu either because Lulu has many issues. You know, with how many Sin scales we've killed, I'm surprised that Sin even has scales left, like, at all. Because I've killed a ridiculous amount of them. You might be able to tell from the fact that characters have lost HP due to, well, consider every time they lose HP, that's the game saying that it's gone out of sync from the normal order. Here's an example of what I have to do when I'm out of sync. Kimahri, change weapon. I want him to, okay, no, that's too fast, I'll just defend. Basically, the order you want it to be in is you want Tidus to go last because he'll never be outsped, then you want Wakka, and then you want Kimahri. That's basically shows how long it's going to go, basically. Like, that'll give you the longest time to actually get these combos in without taking damage. It's fine, Wakka is generally fast enough. You just want Kimahri as fast as possible. Oh, finally! Tidus has learnt Overdrive Mode Slayer. Right, I think I'll stop here, even though Wakka doesn't have Slayer. I'm just gonna leave one of these little shits alive. Right, so... I want Tidus to actually take a turn later. Actually, don't really need him to take a turn, I just want... You know what, I want Kimahri out of the battlefield, that's what I'm trying to say here. So let's just attack Sin's Finn. Alright, you need to use up. Take this. By the way, the overkill on Sin is like some stupid amount. It's 400 or something. So I'm pretty sure that only Wakka getting a crit with 5 cheers is able to do that. I could use Velafor's Overdrive to do it as well, but that's kind of a waste. I want to heal up Wakka and Tidus because there is a battle... Oh, great. 621. Of course. I should have healed Tidus first. Okay, so Wakka, you can keep hitting Sin's Finn. We need to end this battle soon. There's a battle immediately after this one in which you use only Wakka and Tidus. Or Tidus, however you want to pronounce it. And it doesn't heal you between these two, so I'm going to cure Tidus. It's technically... I know it's pronounced Tidus, but... Tidus is just easy to say. So we're going to use Lulu for a bit. Doesn't matter which spell you use, considering Sin has no elemental weakness. Despite the fact he's in the water, so he would probably act more of a, you know, more like a lightning rod. The reason I don't care to overkill Sin is because Sin gives, like, no good rewards. I don't think Sin even drops anything. But yeah, we need that overdrive for an enemy that's in Kilika that does drop good stuff. To take that, Lulu. The reason we're using Lulu right now is because of the way that experience is split up. You only get experience if you actually take an action, whether that be defending or, like, just anything. So, by having Lulu and Yuna do something, this means that they do get experience for this. And granted, while I will not be using Lulu, I will be using Yuna throughout a good chunk of the playthrough. Basically, the game kind of forces you to use every character a bit. The thing is that you don't really need to. It's more of a suggestion than a rule. Okay, Wakka, kill Sin. Yep, see, no overkill. Doesn't matter, however. So basically, Yuna and Lulu are getting the same amount of experience as the other three are getting, because it's not whoever kills it gets the experience, it's whoever was active in the battle where the thing got killed. And waterfall. I know, Sin's casting Waterga. And then silence. Where's Titus gone? Titus wasn't on the harpoon, though. You know, you can't swim. Well, you can't swim and fight like the others can. And, yep, Titus is dead. Keeps getting attacked by these mini sin scales. Yeah. If only that were an actual attack, like Walker's Blitzball bounces off a million enemies. Now that is not an actual potion or anything, it looks like an X potion animation, doesn't really sound like it, but despite the fact that it shows Walker using a potion there, Titus is not healed in between battles, neither is Walker. Dolphins! Only time you'll ever see actual sea creatures in this game. So meet the actual boss, Sinspawn Achules or something like that. I don't know, some fucking weird name. Yeah, Chili's or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to apply 5 cheers here because you kind of do want to kill Achilles, and he does damage you a decent amount, so your stoic overdrive gauge will work. He is weak to darkness, and I don't have a sensor on either of my weapons, but if you do, then it says, you know, the tip for this is inflict darkness to evade its attacks. Dark attack also, of course, lasts for 3 turns. This thing will use Drain Touch, then Blender, and Blender cannot miss, so it doesn't really matter. The reason we're really applying Cheer here is to prevent these Sin Scales from dealing a hefty amount of damage to us. They don't do much, and after they attack, they disappear. I'm just gonna kill a few of them, in an attempt to give Walker Slayer overdrive as well. Okay, that's 3 cheers. I'm actually counting this time. Achilles misses with Drain Touch. Also, your overdrive gauge does charge if you evade, I believe. For some reason it doesn't work for Drain Touch though. Okay, that's 4. We can probably ignore the Sin Scales now. If you have Walker's attack reels, you can easily kill this boss. I don't think it's actually weak to anything, but it has 2000 HP. Here's Blender. Squidding Spaghetti. Why are overdrive gauges just not doing anything? They are set on Stoic, aren't they? I mean, they don't have Warrior yet. If they had Warrior, their overdrive gauges would have been spawned from killing all the stupid Sin Scales. But yeah, you don't really need to overkill this guy anyway. All he gives is, like, more experience. And we already have, like, 1,000,000 experience. Oh, I forgot to apply Darkness on the Walker's turn, but it doesn't really matter because this guy's a fail, apparently. A critical hit from Titus with 5 cheers is enough to overkill this guy if you don't have an overdrive. I swear you're supposed to take, get charged for that. And death. Also, the Sin Scales magically die when the big one is killed. And he gets cast into the void. Nice dramatic way to die. Okay, so we get 514 experience for this. That is a good indication of how long I was doing that for. So we have like 8, 7, 9, 9, 9 sphere levels. And that's 99 power spheres, 6 mana spheres, 2 ability spheres. The ability spheres are dropped from the bosses. Rod of Ice, Blue Ring, those were dropped by things in the water, I believe. But yep, we now have 5,000 gil. All the power spheres we'll need for most of the game. Apart from if we're going to use Aeon's Soul, which, spoiler alert, I won't. So yep, we're pretty good on experience for now. Back to CG. It's all CG, this is a video game. Technically. Whoa, surf's up, dude. Oh, you seem rather happy to see that giant wave. And now they're all dead. If you've ever been hit by a massive wave, you will know there is no surviving this. And they just fly away. You know, why would you even build a town out on the water? Doesn't sound like a very sound idea. It's like, is the land itself uninhabitable? This doesn't seem like a good place to build your life, especially when sin exists. Don't show me your bloody balls. I don't need them.
When Sin attacked Xanarkand that day, I woke up in Spira. I kept hoping it would work in reverse, too.
If it would have worked in reverse, it would have worked back on that
I
salvage
will
ship.
Defeat Sin. I must defeat Sin.
I was just fooling myself. Maybe it was that day, on the sea, under the burning sun. I started to give up hope. I was in a foreign world. I wasn't going home. This was my new reality, and I was stuck in it for good.
Well, we've gone from Besaid to Kilika. I'm surprised that this many buildings still survived. After that big beastie. Where did Sydney go after he landed in Kilika? Didn't show him leaving or anything.
Greetings. I am the summoner Yuna. I have come from the temple in Besaid.
Oh, Milady Summoner!
Milady?
If there is no other summoner here, please allow me to perform the sending.
Thanks, BT.
Our loved ones. We feared they would become fiends.
Please, take me to them.
We'll go see what we can do to help in town.
So, Dado and Letty go off, but all the others don't. How nice of them. So before we save, I'm going to meddle with the sphere grid now, because we gained a lot of levels. Kimahri doesn't matter, because if you may know... Oh, I wonder what's the lag there. You may just notice that characters have their own sphere grids, like Walker's goes off to the left and grants him, like, you know, these skills like silence and other junk like that. You know, Titus has his move with flee and other junk. Yuna has white magic stuff down the bottom here. Lulu has black magic stuff down the bottom here. Kimahri, what's the zoom out button? It's L2. No, it's not. It's... What is it? It's select? Yeah. If we zoom out, we can see where all of those guys are. Guys and girls. Kimahri doesn't really have a sphere grid. I mean, the right and down goes to Yuna's, left and down goes to Lulu's, left goes to Walker's, up goes to Titus's, and whose is this one over here? This is Oren's sphere grid, which you need to go up and then down to go to his. Really, you can technically get full break that early. You just need level 4 keys. But yep, that's the reason why Kimahri is mostly useless, because he doesn't have his own abilities, his own growths, his own anything. So we're just going to move standardly for now. Usually at the start you don't need to do anything. We probably need more other spheres. I mean, We're low on speed spheres. All we have is MP spheres, pretty much. People are making noise outside. I don't like it. Why couldn't they have made noise when I was doing all of that grinding? So, ability spheres. We need to get more speed spheres. Luckily, there are enemies that drop them really soon. Go down, Walker. And use these power spheres. Luckily, we're using 2 physical fighters, so we can make use of these fairly easily. I like to move 3 spaces because you can activate things above or below or whatever. Raise evasion by 2 points. This is surprisingly slower than I thought, not as responsive. Flee is a very good ability that we kind of need. It's necessary later, but not now. And we're almost out of speed spheres. I could move Titus 1 to the left to gain more HP. You know what, I'll do that. More HP is always needed. And of course that takes some things away from him. And Titus gets more agility, which agility is of course basically just standard speed. Oh yeah, I moved Yuna up here to get extra magic. I don't need extractability, do I? Or do I? I don't know. Maybe I should have reviewed the footage, because as extractability is kind of good early on. You know what? Yeah, sure, I'll get extractability. Probably should have used that back on Sin to stock up on ability spheres, but hey, who cares, really? And we're gonna get Null Frost. Is this Null Tide? No, it's Null Blaze. We need Null Tide for, a boss soon. Well, we don't need it, but it's useful. And I'll keep her there until I get more spheres to do junk. Lulu. I might as well upgrade her a little bit, even though I'm never going to use her. And that's all I can do with Lulu. Kimari. I really can't do anything with Kimari. One of the things I'm going to do with Kimari, however, is take him over to this place and get Steal and Use, which are Riku's moves. But they are good moves, of course. And I'm not going to boost any of Kimari's stats. Reason being is that there is boss later on that Kimari has to fight alone that scales to his stats, meaning the lower Kimari's stats are, the technically easier the fight is. Basically, if you just increase defensive abilities like HP and defense, the boss is really easy because it doesn't deal much damage. So, that's it for sphere leveling. Let me just save right here. And let's get back to business. We can't go right because the Aurochs are fixing the bridge. We need to go left to view the cutscene. I'll probably just stay quiet for all of this.
What's ascending? Are we going somewhere?
You truly are clueless. Are you sure it's just your memory that's the problem? The dead need guidance. Filled with grief over their own death, they refuse to face their fate. They yearn to live on and resent those still alive. You see, they envy the living. And in time, that envy turns to anger, even hate. Should these souls remain in Spira, they become fiends that prey on the living. Sad, isn't it? The sending takes them to the far plane, where they may rest in peace.
Summoners do this? must be tough, being a summoner.
Yuna chose her own path. She knew from the beginning what it meant. All we can do is protect her along the way, until the end.
Until the end? What's the end?
Until she defeats sin.
Oh.
I hope I did okay.
You did very well. They've reached the far plane by now, but no tears next time. Hmm?
I wished there would never be a next time. No more people being killed by sin. No more sendings for Yuna. Everyone stood there watching her. It was strange, and somehow horrifying. I never wanted to see it again.
Too bad you don't have a choice, Titus. And we're in the hotel. What do you say? Did you rest well? It was left some time ago. Best dialogue comes from this kid. I'm gonna be a blitzball when I grow up. Not a blitzball player, a blitzball. Okay, so there are some things to do before we go to the next place.
Hey, you awake? Captain Walker's waiting for you.
So we can't go to the left now because Keeper is fixing the bridge, supposedly. If we talk to this thing here... Yes, thing, not person.
Whoa!
Why were you even standing in that spot, kid? Yeah, get lost. You a person? Yeah. We all know. Maybe you should, like, build your houses in the land. So yeah, this guy is now facing, the same thing Titus supposedly is. If he says anything offensive, don't take it too seriously. What do you say? All the Albeds should be killed? Does the square thing work? Yeah, it does. So if you hit square on people, you can see what blitzball team they're from and stuff like that. Iskin, I believe he's the captain of the Killiker Beast, that's why he's signed in for 30 games. He's pretty much never going to expire, unless you play a lot of blitzball. And I'm just going to steal your potions for now, because you don't need them. I'm going to equip Yuna with this blue ring that I got from the last thing. Rod of Ice is useless because it's just Ice Strike. And elemental damage weapons are pretty useless. And Rod of Wisdom is pretty much better in like every single way. I mean, bonus magic is nothing to scoff at. Right, if you go into this building, this chick says, "You're the one who saved my sister, right? The treasure box contains a token of my appreciation. Most notably, you want this Albed Primer." Why they have an Albed Primer here? I don't know. I now achieved the rank of Albed Pajahan. I don't know what that means because I don't speak Albed. And you get an Ether, which I'll never use. You play Blitzball? Wait, are you Cullican or are you Cullican? You're Cullican. Wait a second. You're level 7, really? Huh. I'm surprised because usually most units are level 1 to 5. But 7? That's unheard of. Hey Walker, what do you want?
Ah, there you are. Be St. Aurochs, huddle. On to the temple, where we pray for victory. Go! High Summoner O'Halloran used to live in the Kilika Temple here. Yep. Lord O'Halloran was once a great blitzer, you know.
Why would you live in a temple?
Praying for victory's all good. But is this right?
Something wrong with enjoying blitzball?
Is this really the time?
This is the only time. The players fight with all their strength. The fans cheer for their favorite team. They forget pain, suffering. Only the game matters. That's why Blitz has been around for so long. At least that's what I think.
Whatever you say.
Whenever you
Let's
say,
play
Walker.
and win, right?
Right.
Notice that arm animation
Temple's behind
Titus
the
always
jungle
does.
there. Let's go.
Alright, two things to do before... Actually, really, one thing to do before this episode finishes. Hands off the merchandise. I want to sell some junk because... this guy, chick, old hag, sells stuff that has plus 5 HP, which kind of sucks. And sensor gear. Of course, Kimari's weapon has piercing as well, but Kimari already has one of those, so it doesn't matter. We don't really need that stuff. I want to sell just some of the basic stuff, the stuff that we are never going to use. The stuff that doesn't have upgrades. I want to keep the longsword, merely for the fact that it's sentimental, as in it's the only weapon that has no ability slots or abilities on it. Which, it's just weird, but I just want to keep it. Don't need this. This will drop from the boss with a Dark Touch. It's good and all, but it's worth a fair amount. And we need to get over 9,000 gil more to Owaka. Right, so off we go to Kilika Temple. Surprisingly, Keeper fixed that bridge really quickly. Either that or he really didn't work on it at all and someone else did because Keeper is kind of useless. Right, one more cutscene before end of episode. Also, this is the only time where you actually have an ally that follows around with you.
What's up?
Yuna's saying she wants you with us.
Huh?
I want to ask you to be my guardian.
You know what? There's no time for jokes, yeah? He may be a blitzball whiz kid, but up against fiends, he's a newbie.
Hey, he already has Slayer.
Not a guardian, then. I just want him nearby.
What?
That face.
What do you mean?
It's just that... Well,
We're all going to the temple anyway. Can't this wait till later?
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have...
There's nothing to be sorry about. I'm just not really sure what's going on.
Go back to Canada, Yuna.
My apologies.
And close up on Kimari for really no reason. Go be plot relevant. Also, that's the enemy we're going to be fighting next episode. You can see up close. But yep, I'm just going to save. Even though I saved just before. Also, you can see when I recorded this video. I recorded this video ages ago. Friday the 13th of freaking July. So, yep, I'll see you guys in the next video where we're going to be killing, well, we're going to be killing that boss up ahead. And we're going to be going to Kilika Temple. Probably an eventful episode. Sorry if this episode was short, but it was really long to me. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.